All right, let's get into it. This was really cool. Barryn Sorrell, right? You guys, you've already heard the draft night story and him getting emotional at the presser and all that. This was really cool, man. Tim, it seems like every day goes by, you fall in love with this dude a little bit more, and the fact that he's a Green Bay Packer. So, this was a tweet, an X post that was put out by Michael Brandel. Okay, and you're wondering who the hell is that? I was wondering the same thing. I'll read it and let you guys kind of come up with your own assessment. I thought this was really, really cool. So it says, it was the spring semester of 2022, and I received an email from a student in my intro to macroeconomics course at UT Austin. The student had not done well on the first exam, and he wanted to know what he could do to improve his grade. He said his schedule was very tight, and he could not make it to my office hours. So I agreed to meet with him over Zoom every week to go over the course material. I offered this to any student who wasn't doing well. Most never take me up on it. This guy did. Every week we would meet. He would tell me that what he got out of the readings and lectures. I would give him feedback, etc. I also learned he was from Louisiana and that he was on the football team. He was an interesting guy. His hard work paid off. He greatly improved his exam scores, and as his knowledge and understanding of economics grew, his name was Barryn Sorrell. You may have heard his name over the past few days if you follow the NFL, if you're a fan of the Green Bay Packers. Here is a brief clip of what happened during the draft with the NFL commissioner announcing his pick, which never happens for a fourth-round pick, put in parentheses. So when you hear Barryn talk about his work ethic in interviews, let me reassure you, this is not just hype. He works his butt off, and I'm happy to say it often pays off of him. He is truly inspirational story on many levels. Now, we're not going to play the video. You guys have seen it 1,000 times. You see his pops in the background crying. I believe that's his dad in the background all teared up. But just another example. I thought that was really cool, Tim, that his college professor at UT Austin just put that X post out there like, hey, y'all got you one, boys and girls. You got you one. Pretty neat.
Yep. And an example of just the work ethic, like he's saying, right? Football aside, it just tells you the character of the man, right? The guy that we're getting here in Green Bay. So we should all be grateful. And, if he works half as hard as he did in the classroom on the football field, we're going to be in for a treat. I think this could be another, much like Edgerrin Cooper kind of popped last year as a rookie. I think Barryn Sorrell could be that guy this year, really, for this team.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I want to be very clear about this too. This whole story was awesome. Being in the stadium as they announced his pick and watching him walk the stage from inside Lambeau Field was unbelievable.
Next level.
It was just everything about this situation I love. It doesn't make a hill of beans if he's not good at football, right? Now, based off what I've seen on the tape, I think he's got as good a shot as any to transfer right over to the NFL and be a good player and work his way in. Just like the scouting reports said, Tim, he would be a backup contributor with starter potential, right?
Yep.
And that's what you see. So I just love the fact that you've got such a stand-up guy, such a respectable young man that's going to be representing the Green Bay Packers. That's why I'm rooting for him more than anything. Honestly, I want Matthew Golden to work out. I want Savion Williams to work out. I want Anthony Belton, the whole 9 yards. This dude, when you see somebody who has that kind of raw emotion toward, for his family and bringing his family up, which is very similar to Matthew Golden's story as well, and just wants to be that team player. And again, what Dane Brugler said, that they talked to one NFL team, and they said they asked every Texas prospect that they had in an interviewing process. They said, hey, if you could bring one teammate with you, who would it be? They said it was Barryn Sorrell. Every single one of them had the same answer. So just pretty cool, man. I guarantee you that bumped him up on Goody's board. But when you get to the NFL, baby, it's all about football. Not all about football, but the majority of it is football, right? You still got to be a good human being, and obviously what you do in the community is just as important as what you do on the football field, but you got to produce. I'm rooting for him, though, man. I believe that good things happen to good people. You reap what you sow, all that. I think it's just a law that's sown into the earth. I really believe that, man.
I agree 100%, Clay. And, that type of energy, that work ethic, rookie or not, in a locker room, that's contagious, man. That guy is going to everybody else in that locker room is going to see that energy and feed off of it too. Whether you're a veteran or you're, Matthew Golden, fellow rookie, whether it's Savion Williams, whoever, both sides of the ball, all three phases of the game, it doesn't matter. I think that's the type of player you want. And you got to root for a guy like that, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. Chris Casualian said, how did Sorrell last until the fourth? Wow. I think it goes hand in hand with what we talked about these other Texas defenders. You got all these different Texas defenders that were coming out in the draft. And it's, the conversation we always have with, like, all right, which one is the hit? Because sometimes, they all don't pan out. It's like, okay, this guy had a little more inflated production in college because the other one was drawing attention away from him and vice versa, right? I think that has something to do with it. I think he was a lower recruited guy, if I remember correctly. I think he was a 3-star coming out of high school, and he just had to kind of work his way up. I think it's just one of those examples of – it kind of reminds me of Clay Matthews' story. Obviously Barryn Sorrell was not built like Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews coming into college, I want to say his walk-on freshman year, I believe it was, he was 187 pounds, which is crazy to think about. And he worked his way up, and finally started his senior year. Now, Barryn Sorrell, obviously a much bigger human being, but I think he's just one of those guys that I don't know, man. I think it's just a testament to his upbringing, and you can see how close he was with his family.
Yep.
Hard work pays off, man. Do you rant? Go ahead, Jake. Or Tim, sorry, man. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and you're not to cut you off, but you're getting a guy who's going to be 100% committed, like from the get-go. You talk about bought in. Sometimes with first-year players, rookie players, it takes a while to, kind of convince them of what you're trying to do. This guy right here does not strike me as that type of dude. I think he's going to come in. It's going to be yes, sir, no, sir. What do you need me to do? If you want, 10 reps, I'll give you 20 reps. If you want 1 hour of film study, I'll give you 3 hours of film study. He just seems like a go the extra mile kind of guy, man. And I love it.
Yeah. D. Rant says, saw a video of Goot in the war room, and when the pick was being announced, he said he didn't know Sorrell was at the draft along with LaFleur. Yeah, if you guys go watch that 7-minute clip that the Packers tweeted out, kind of encapsulating the entire weekend in the draft, at that moment, you see Goody look over in the camera. You know how he is about no cameras in the war room. It looked like he made him stand in the hallway or something. But you see him look over and go, he's here? Like, it was really cool to see all that unfold for sure. As Coach Lynn says, you can build a team around a guy like that.
Yep.
It's so true, man. So true. And there's some people right now rolling their eyes going, yeah, what's his PFF grade? It's like, telling you, man, these are real human beings. And when the game's on the line and you ain't got enough gas in the tank to even, get your ass off the snap, you need guys like that you can look over. It's like the whole the Willie Davis story from way back in the day, right, with the Lombardi Packers, and Bill Curry telling that story of how he came from the South and all the racial divide, and he said he wasn't taught by his parents, but he was taught by the culture in which he lived that he was better than other humans, meaning by the color of his skin. And he said, and then I step into that huddle with Willie Davis and Willie Wood and Lyle Aldridge and all these just dominant, African-American athletes. And he said one day after training camp, he said, I was walking out of training camp practice at St. Norbert College, and he said, I heard a voice from the shadows say, Bill, he said, I thought it was God. I just sat down in the grass. And he said, it was Willie Davis. And he said, I thought, oh, man, this is it. He's heard my Southern accent. He's going to send me home. He's going to tell me to go home. And he said, I've been watching you in practice, and I think you got a chance to make this team. And he said, and I'm going to help you do it. And I think he said something along the lines. I'm kind of getting choked up because it's just like, man, what a human being. He said, when Nitschke's snapping your face mask and Lombardi's screaming and there's blood everywhere, he said, you don't think you can do it. You said, you look over to me and I'll get you through it. And Bill Curry said, that's the difference between winning football teams. Some people have Willie Davis and some people don't.
That's
telling
right.
you, that kind of guy right there. And I'm not comparing a all-time great Hall of Famer to a rookie who hasn't played a snap in the league. I'm just saying that stuff matters.
Yeah, it does.
Puts a team together. It's huge, man.
Coach LaFleur spoke on that earlier in the week, right? He was asked about that, about guys that have, kind of their hearts on their sleeve and they're passionate, emotional guys and they care. Matt said he didn't want robots on this team. It's not about your PFF grade or your RAS score or being, going through the motions. Play with that fire. Play for a reason. Play for the guy next to you. you know, and I think that's part of the culture that we have here and the culture that we've been fostering. So, yeah, Barryn Sorrell is going to fit just fine in Green Bay for sure.